Hey, welcome back, guys. We are in Chapter 5 of our textbook, Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud Revealed, and we are going to be working with color in Chapter 5. In this first lesson, we are going to set the default background and foreground colors. So if you haven't already, let's open up Adobe Photoshop 5-1, and we're going to save it as Basketball Star. And underscore your name. And then we are going to click the default background and foreground colors button on the Tools panel. And reset the Essentials workspace. Perfect. Now, if you accidentally click the foreground color button, the color picker for the foreground color dialog box opens, which that's so nice for me because in the last couple of lessons, I don't know why, but I was trying to double click, and I think that was based on a previous version, and I could not get into the color picker, but yay, today I can, so we should have no issues. We are going to change the status bar on the bottom of our document so that the document size displays, which it is already displaying, but you'll see that that is where you could change it if you wanted to do that. We're going to display the rulers in pixels, and let's take a look at that. Remember, you can right click or control click on the rulers to show what measurement unit you are currently in, and to change it as if you choose to do that as well. Then we're going to click, drag, and drop this little crosshairs to the upper left-hand corner of our document to reset the 0 for both the vertical and horizontal measurements. Now, in creating a rendering intent, the use of a rendering intent determines how colors are converted by a color management system. And that's used really to keep colors looking consistent as they move between devices, although that's very difficult to do if you don't specifically set it for every device. Colors are defined and interpreted using a profile, and we can create a rendering intent by clicking Edit on the menu bar. And then we are going to click Color Settings. And we're going to click the Intent List arrow in the Conversion Options area. And then we're going to select one of the 4 rendering intent options. Since a gamut is the range of color that a color system can display or print, the rendering intent is constantly evaluating the color gamut and then determining whether or not the colors need to be adjusted. Although colors that fall inside the destination gamut are not changed, using a rendering intent allows colors that fall outside that gamut to be adjusted on the intent you set. So I'm going to click OK to get out of here. And then we are going to click the background layer on the layers panel. I'll move this over just slightly so you can see my layers. I'm going to click on that. And if you did create a legacy workspace, which I did not in Chapter 1, if you did, you can bring that up now. But if you didn't and your color panel is not displaying, then you'll want to display the color panel, which mine is. Now we're going to drag each slider on the color panel until we reach the values shown in figure 5. So the R value would be 110. You want to hit tab. The green value is 140 and hit tab. And then the blue value is 120 and hit tab. You could also double click each component's text box on the color panel and type in the color values. All right, we're going to click the paint bucket tool on the tools panel. It's under the gradient. And we're going to press and hold the mouse button until the list of hidden tools opens. Oh, you saw me do that. And you'll see what other than the gradient and the paint bucket, there's also a 3D material drop tool, which is quite new. All right, now we're going to click the image with the paint bucket, oh wow, paint buckets pointer. Now I have the a different display for my pointer. If I wanted to change that to make sure that it was similar probably to you guys's, I think it's up here in general. Maybe not. I'm looking for the cursor option because you can set it either in here, maybe it's here. Well, I'm not going to make you stand there and wait while I find it. I'll be back in just a second. And of course, where would that be but under cursors, right? So I went to Photoshop CC, over to Preferences, and then from Preferences went here to Cursor, and I want it to be the standard cursor. Now I'm going to do the standard here too. Let's see what that works out to. All right, and there we have the paint bucket. So now we're going to click the paint bucket tool on the tools panel, and then we're going to click the image. Excuse me. And you can see that that changes that background color that we were just with the color that we just created. Now we are going to go up to the history panel. Excuse me. And we're going to delete that last state by clicking and dragging this to the trash can. And now you can see our background color is also back to white. All right, so we're going to change the background color now using the eyedropper tool. So again, we're going to click on the background layer on the layers panel. We're going to click on the eyedropper tool on the tools panel, or you can click I believe it is, for eyedropper. And we're going to click the light blue area on the boy's right shoe. And this is kind of cool because this is a great way to unify your colors if you're trying to reduce your palette and make sure it all goes really nicely together. You'll see that the foreground color was set to that real light blue that I clicked or sampled. Then we're going to go back and get the paint bucket tool. And you can click on the image, and there it is, light blue again. You want to do a Command or Control S to save your work. And I'll be back in a moment.